Am I live? Is anybody there? Back to the strong starts of old. I'm having a challenging day today. I'm hoping that people are able to see this. I can't see it. That's fantastic. Oh, here we go. Okay. I'm going to need people to tell me if they can hear me. So I need your help straight away, guys. Sound check time. I'm going to try something a bit different. First of all, can you hear me? Michael, you cannot hear me. Wait a minute. If you can't hear me, then how did you know I was asking that? That's interesting. Are you seriously saying you can't hear me? Can you hear me? You can hear me. Okay. Awesome. And there's no feedback. Thank you very much. And hello. Hello, Gavin. Hello, Michael. Hello, Petra. Hi. Okay, next thing is, can you hear this? Dream Angus can hear you in the USA. I love technology for the fact that there's someone just tuning in to my wee shed broadcast from the USA. Hey, Dream Angus. Good to see you back here. All right. Can you hear this? And is the volume crazy? Can you hear that? Thank you, Petra. Can you also hear me talking, and can you also hear me playing the fiddle whilst the drone is going on? Volume is fine, Gavin. Okay. Perfect, not crazy volume, no distortion. There has been some distortion of late. Yes, thank you. So you can hear me talking as well? Yeah, it could be too loud for the distortion. That's probably what's going on. So I want to just pause this. So you guys could hear me talking. You can hear it all. Okay, wow. I was not expecting that to have worked. Okay, right. Well, I'm going to get going. So this... hello, welcome. Errogie Music Live. Da, 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 da. I have to make use of this. We are on air from our little shed somewhere in Scotland, and I'm getting increasingly excited to do these things. It's gone from being weird to like, do you know what? I just feels good. So, hello everyone. Good to see the regulars back in. If you're new here, hello. I'm just trying to teach what I know and what I've worked out so far about writing tunes, and I'm going to just use examples most of the time, I think. Not just so I can say, oh, look what I've done. Am I not just amazing? It's so that I can show you some tools which I think you can take away and use to write your own tunes, because that's what I'm trying to do, is just help people write their own tunes. Or even if you actually don't care about writing your own tunes, I hope that maybe just this is might just feed into either your own music making, or even just be like entertaining. Like, I know I watch people on YouTube, and I have a lot of people I watch, I have like no desires to actually like try and become good at what they're on about. I just quite like watching stuff on YouTube. So what I'm saying is, I hope there's something here for everyone, whether you want to write your own tunes or not. But let's go for it. So this week, those of you who follow me on the old social medias will maybe be aware that I chucked out a track the other day which I wrote as a tune commission. What's a tune commission? It's a thing that I offer as a musician, where basically you can just ask me to write a tune, and you get to name it, and you get to usually give it to a loved one as a gift. That's usually what happens there. And so I completed one the other day for a very fine gentleman called Lachie, and he wanted to write a tune for his partner's 40th birthday. So what usually happens is I just send customers, clients, whatever you want to call it, I send them tunes that I've been working on or writing. I usually send something that I've already written rather than trying to write something from scratch, just because I don't know, I usually find the stuff I've written at some point in my vault. I call it my vault. It's a Dropbox online storage folder full of just little stuff that comes to me. I usually find that stuff is less contrived or not contrived at all, whereas if I try and write a tune, sometimes that works actually. In fact, there's always exceptions. I just usually find the stuff I've already got in my little vault is what people tend to go for. So I had this tune which I actually wrote quite recently. I wrote this tune. I'm trying to learn the piano a little bit, like complete beginner level, and I'm sure I've said this before, but one of the ways I found that I've ended up writing a tune is by not actually trying to write a tune, just actually trying to learn some bit of the instrument. So and you stumble across some notes you like. So I was trying to teach myself piano, very basic piano, and I found some notes. That's how I wrote this tune. But what I would like to most of all, my main central message to you about what you can do is what I did that I think you can do with this tune is something that's really one of my favourite things, because it's just the gift that keeps on giving, and it's actually really, really easy to understand, and I think it's easy to implement. And what it is tension and release. So allow me to explain. And this is why I have this little bit of extra sound, because this is best explained whilst there is a drone going on. Anyone here love drones? I love a drone. It is just the most beautiful thing, because music can be so complicated, jumping around chords, craziness, whereas a drone is just, there's just something wonderful about one note, and usually quite low. So I'm going to get this drone going, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So I've got my Logic Pro session in the wee corner of the screen there. I'm going to hit play, and you're going to hear a drone. This note is an A. Okay. So the tension and release thing that I'm talking about is picking a note to play at the same time as a drone, and then deciding to pick a note which is a little bit uncomfortable against the drone. But if you play it and then go up one note or down one note, the sense of discomfort becomes relief, and the whole idea of going from a slightly uncomfortable note to a comfortable note against a drone or a chord or whatever is just one of the loveliest things in music. So I'll just show you again what I mean. So here's a drone. Now if I play an A, this drone is an A. If I play an A, it's not going to provide any discomfort. It's the same note, unless my A string's out of tune. Okay. Now if I play a note just beneath A, which in the key of A major is the 7th note of the scale, A being 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That note there, G sharp, it's a bit uncomfortable, isn't it, if I just play that on its own. But look what happens if I go from that note back up to A, up one note. Okay? Does that make sense? If that's new to anyone, or even if it's not new, am I making sense? Picking a note above a drone. I'm using a drone, but really it could be a chord, any kind of foundation. Picking one that you know is uncomfortable in order to then just go up and resolve it, creating tension and release. That's the simplest example there of doing that, is having the drone. It's not a big fancy chord progression and just going. So let me know in the comments if that makes sense or doesn't make sense. In the meantime, I'm going to just keep going with some other notes or other information about what notes you can use. So the A major chord, A is the bottom one. Then to get the next note of a major key chord, a major chord, a major chord, you go up 2 notes from the bottom. Remember how I said there's 8 steps? You go up to note number 3. Bum dum da. That note is the middle note of the A major chord, and that too also doesn't create any tension. It just sits nicely. So the middle note of a chord, okay? The next note that doesn't cause any tension is the 5th of the chord. So up 5 from A. That's E. So A, C sharp and E, or note 1, note 3 and note 5 are resolved. They're not causing any tension. They just sit nicely. And how much fun is it just to sit and play along with a drone? Anyone ever do that? Oh my goodness. So all the other notes tend to cause a bit of tension. Let's look at them in order. A, as we know, is just nicely resolved. One note above A, it feels a bit unsettled. It needs to either go down or up. So here's what that sounds like. Or up. So B. The next one is the 4th note up, which is D. A, B, C sharp, D. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 leaves you hanging as well. The same thing, you can either resolve it by going down 1 to note 3, C sharp, or by going up 1 from note 4 to E, note 5. So down from 4, then up. So now we've got a whole pile of interesting colours. We've got our resolved notes, notes 1, 3 and 5. And then 2 unresolved notes. All day. I can't recommend playing along with a drone strong enough. Couple of comments. Petra hasn't done this before, but you will start now. You're not going to regret it. Michael, Hanukkah made you use a Shruti box. That's got a ring to it. I think that should be a tune title, Michael. Hanukkah made me use a Shruti box. Digga-da-digga-digga-digga-da. You could use that rhythm for your tune if you wanted to. Let's keep going. We've got up to note 5. Note 6. What does that sound like going down? Note 6 is interesting because what happens if you go up one note, as we have been doing, from note 6? Doesn't quite resolve. It takes you to note 7, which is the G sharp that I mentioned right back at the start of this. So note 7 to note 8. Note 4 to 5. Note 2 to note 3. That was note 7 to note 8, 1 octave lower. So I came up with the first few notes of this tune using that kind of thing. The first few notes of the tune, Linda's just saying, didgeridoo, do all First Nations use a drone? So calming. I don't know, but I do notice that the drone, this is a bit of a rabbit hole, sidebar, as they say on TV, the drone is like all over the planet. There's something, like bagpipes have drones, didgeridoos, Indian classical music. How many other art forms have a drone? There's just something, there's some fundamental truth or something about that. I don't know what it is, but a lot of people agree that it's a damn fine thing to do. It's just so calming. So what I did with this tune is I basically did my first note. The first phrase of the tune is. In fact, I'm going to play the tune over the top of the drum to show you. Getting carried away there. That's the tune. So I'm using the G sharp, and then rather than just going straight to A, I'm going G sharp to E. E is neutral, but G sharp's not. B is not neutral. So it's the two notes that are causing a bit of tension, or two of the tension notes are notes 2 and 7 I'm using. Have a listen to those. And if they both go up, you get so I wrote a phrase which kind of went at and then that last two notes, it's just a bit of extra tension and release crammed in. I could have just gone, no, sorry, I did that. That's the first phrase. Resolving there on C sharp. So what did I do there? Basically the same phrase twice in a row. One of my favourite things to do. Get a nice phrase, can I make it the same again without changing it? No, it needed a bit of change. So what did I do? I changed the rhythm. This is one of my things I hammer on about, is make your rhythm of your second phrase a little bit different to the rhythm of your first phrase. So my first phrase rhythm was just da 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 da. Second phrase dee dee da 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 dum. Does that work? And also by going da dum, note 2 2 3. That's tension and release. So it's just having more fun with that. So when I got that, I kind of felt like, okay, there's a tune coming here, let's take it on a journey. So I wanted to just really get into those first few notes there with just an A drone, just to get a solid foundation. What I then did, and this is something that you can do if you're writing your tunes, you can change the drone. So I changed that drone from being an A at the bottom to a different note. I moved it up to being a D. Okay, so I'm going to just loop this section. You're going to hear it going from A to D. And I can't hear the tempo. I'm going to hit the piano. I'm going to unmute the fiddle tune. So I'm not sure if that was all syncing up nicely at all, but basically the same phrase, the same two phrases we've just done again over, we've just done over an A is now over a D. So now the tune is the same, but because we've moved the bottom level of our foundation up, those notes in the tune are no longer the same number away from the drone as before. You know how at the start that G sharp, that was the the seventh note up from our drone of A. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. But now our drone isn't A anymore, so it's D. And when you move bass note, that new bass note becomes a new 1. So D is now 1. So how far away from D is G sharp? It's 4 notes and it's a weird fourth. So now it's the same notes now, it's a different chord. It's like you've got this tension and release. I'm going to mute the fiddle tune and play again. mentioned, that C sharp. So you've got different relationships now between the notes and the drone, because the drone's changed. I'm not sure how far into all the theory as to what those relationships are I should go. I feel like maybe just making the general point that if you want to try this, and I think you should if you want to try your own tunes, try mucking around over a drone, then just try, if you find a pattern, try moving your drone to a different drone, and then keep your same pattern and see what that does, and maybe go between the two, which is kind of what I did here. So I then did it again for a third time, pretty much the same melody tune, but with a different drone again here, and this time it goes to a F sharp, which is what we call chord 6, or the relative minor of A. It's the sad sibling. Just gonna mute those strings wherever they are. So many. So that's an F sharp. So now, this is what I love about putting different drones or chords beneath the same tune. It's just like, it's still the same tune. It's not changed, but it feels totally different. I love that. I'll never get tired of that. Couple of comments. Linda, does the constant allow space for all the colours and textures, all the change? It's a good thought, Linda. I think it does allow space. It does. It just allows. It's almost like, I think of it like a building that sits on top of it. It does allow for much more space and experimenting. When chords are jumping around a bit, there's just, I mean, that's all great as well, but there's just something nice sometimes about the drone. And G Manga says, now thinking about the effect of temporary dissonance. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly, temporary dissonance. Good description. Like A1, E5, then a clashing B flat over A sharp 7, 5 resolving to tonic. Beyond the tension, maybe too unpleasant. I'll leave that to you to decide if that's too unpleasant. But the main thing is that you're getting it. You're all getting it. It's just this knowing which notes are going to clash and then going up one or down one. Again, it's a great simple technique. If you're ever doing a harmony and it's not working, if you pick a note and just go up one or down one, it usually fixes it. And this is kind of like more into that. But yeah, top tip. Go up one or down one if your harmony note isn't working. It'll fix it. Okay, back to this map. So we've got A is a drone tune. And the drone goes up 4 notes to D. Same tune means something a bit different now. Then it goes to F sharp, and now it means something different again. So that's 3 separate feels. So the A is kind of happy, the D is happy but like hopeful and suspenseful, and the F sharp minor is like quite sad. So have a listen. And that just leaves the 4th phrase, which is over an E and a slight variation from the melody now. So E in the key of A, E is number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and E is the classic one that sits really nicely before A, or rather chord 5 just goes to chord 1 nicely. I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, will know what a cadence is. But if you don't, it's just this chord 5 in this case to chord 1. So here's what that sounds like. So that's what I did there. And again, I don't want to just be like, look what I did. I want you to just, if you haven't done it before, or if you have done it, have a reminder. Just think about picking a drone and then just maybe experimenting by playing different notes against it and trying going up one and down one and just going into that and see what happens. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful world. I did a little bit of studying of Indian classical music for a while. I mean, really have to say a little bit, because that's an entire universe, and also there's just so much respect in that tradition for, you have a guru. It's just huge. So I am not going to sit here and say I can play Indian classical music. I was lucky enough to have some fun sessions with some amazing musicians in Dunkeld on a Tuesday night in the mid-2000s with Ross Ainsley, fantastic musician, Ali Hutton, and a wonderful gentleman who's sadly no longer here, Nigel Richard, who is just the most charismatic, eccentric, beautiful man. He made exceptionally high quality bagpipes, and him and Ross were in a band called India Alba with Sharat Srivastava and Gyang Singh from Delhi, and they were exploring the links between Scottish and Indian classical. And Nigel would drive me up to Dunkeld from Edinburgh, where I lived, on a Tuesday night, and we'd go to the Taybank Hotel and play sessions, and then after the bar was closed, we'd go upstairs to this room and stay up very late. I'd do a lot of this improvising, and in my attempts to understand it, I always try to look for things that are general things. And what I found was, it's like where we would resolve, like everything I've just been talking about, in Indian classical music, it's completely 180. So I'll show you what I mean. Oops. I'll mute the tune there. If we're gonna go, they would almost do the opposite and go, leaving it that way. Or they would be either not resolving it at all, or just spending a lot longer resolving it. I just used to love those sessions. Had some moments that are just gone forever because no one records them. That's a bit of a side thing, but you can try that. Just try not resolving. Obviously, I left the key that we're in there just to try some other modes. So that's basically it. The second part of the tune for this, I just took it a bit of another journey somewhere else. It's I just used some different notes. So I went up to, again, that's all about resolving on A. starting on the D, chord 4, which is one of the tension notes. I'm actually going to put the drone on again for a second just to make this point. 4, 3. So that's a very simple tune. I might tell you a little bit about how I arrange some harmony stuff. Let's see if I can get the harmony stuff going. Where are they? So that was just note 7 to 8. Tension and release. Tension and release. Da dum, da dum. And I just kept that kind of going over the different chords. So the next thing was similar. Just tension and release. The whole tune is just tension and release. Like, it's really unsubtle, but I also don't care because I'm just like celebrating this thing. So here's the two chords, the A to the D. And then it just keeps going over the next two chords as well. You'll have a listen. And that's the nuts and bolts of the whole tune and the whole track. I think it's just those same chords for the second part as well. So that's what I did. I just got into, first of all, just trying to learn an instrument that I don't play. I'd recommend that if you're ever trying to find a tune, maybe pick up something you don't normally play. Mucking around, wasn't looking for a tune, and went into drone land and then just started mucking around over the top of a drone, and just all about tension and release. So I hope I've made that point. I feel like I might have overmade it, but I also feel like I can't overmake it. And I guess also as a teacher, I always feel like I really want to just not leave people feeling confused, and also I don't like to just do too many different millions of topics. I'd rather just go right into one thing. It's also how I like to teach myself. It's just go right. I'm going to just go utterly into one thing at a time, which is what I did with this tune, Tension and Release. I think I'm going to make some drones for my Patreon subscribers. I think rather than me just saying you can find drones on YouTube, which you can, I'll make you some if you want to come and follow me there. I have a free members thing as well. I'm increasingly just kind of try and do stuff for people for free as well. Just a nice way of connecting. So I'll maybe get some drones. Friendly G, love the lack of a typical structure. Feels like I could go around forever. Thanks, Friendly. I think that's a good thing about a nice pleasing chord sequence, and hopefully a nice pleasing melody, is it just kind of does go on forever, or it could, you know. So my arrangement here is, it's just an A part, a B part. You see at 1A, 1B, it's like 3 times through, and then this solo, which I had no intentions of adding a solo to it, but I just came in the shed one night and I just felt it, so I just I hit record and just went for it with this kind of solo thing, which yeah, maybe I'll just give you a wee blast of the last time through the tune. Oh. Yeah, I just went for it with that. I don't know if anyone's interested in how I arranged this, but I actually tried to learn the solo and then layered loads of fiddles trying to play it, but not exactly at the same time, which is handy because I don't even know what rhythm I played. It was so mad and a one-time thing, but this was me trying to repeat the solo. That's the solo, and all this slot, I think. They're all takes. Anyway, just thought I'd share that. bit of fun. Okay, enough of that. Petra would love to get some drones. Right, don't let me forget that, Petra. I must provide you drones. Yeah, that would be cool. It's also fun to play tunes that you already know. Old tunes, a lot of Gallic waltzes, if you know any of those. Slow airs, just play them with a drone. And you could even be up, if you don't already think like this, you could be kind of upping your skills at the knack of thinking about what note you're playing, where is it in relation to the drone. So an existing tune, what's the first note? Is that note 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8? You know what I mean? Or 4. Try that. Couple of comments. Finley, such a beefy sound with all the fiddles taken together. The effect in that solo is giving me a cool saxophone, woodwindy. Cool, thank you. It's like, I actually did try to play the same notes at the same time, but I couldn't, and then I kind of just thought, maybe just go with it. It's not going to happen. Maybe I slightly, because you know how you get like, you can put a delay on something which makes it sound like it's in a cave with an echo. I thought, if I'm too early with the notes that I'm recording here, if I'm ahead of the original solo, is that like some weird pre-delay thing? Anyway, I'm glad you guys like it. It's been a lot of fun doing this, and it's just great. It's what I love to do, is sit and write music, and increasingly I just love to do it, composing this way, recording. I've been doing that as much as I can, and when someone commissions me to write a tune, it means I can justify playing my toys, because it helps pay the bills, and it gives me a little bit more experience trying to learn how to write music this way, because I would love to just be writing music this way full time. I'd love to be able to write music in this way for like film and TV or video games, but I need to find a way into that. And when people ask me to write music for them, it means I get to practice and put the music out there. Yeah, that's it. So that's about 45 minutes. And I'll maybe just play along with the track one more time and finish it off. Unless anyone's got any more questions. If you do, chuck them in the comments, I'll answer them afterwards. But I'm going to just play this tune, A Dance for Ruth, commissioned by Errogie. And I might actually unmute. There were some drums I was putting in. I wasn't sure if they should be in or not, but I think I will actually just I'll just add them this time for the very last time, just for a bit of something different. They're going to come in a little bit later. So yeah, I'll just go away, but get going playing with drones and thinking about tension and release, and just experiment. That's the best way to learn anything, is just to tinker. And again, you can do this without even having to care about writing a tune. You don't have to be writing a tune. You can just go. It's really calming. It's just a lovely calming thing. So yeah, here we go. Hey Finley, how do you choose what to write, and how long does it usually take for you to write your tunes? I've been writing quite a lot over the past few weeks, and I just write what I feel like at the time. Man, I love that you've been writing a lot. That's awesome. I just think it's like, for me, I don't have. I treat each time a tune is coming, I have to think like almost like I've never done this before. Every time is the first time. I think there's a saying for that in, is it Buddhism? I'm not a Buddhist, I don't think, but it's called, or is it Taoism? Beginner's mind, where even if you've been doing something for decades, each time you do it, you do it as if for the first time, as if you've never done it before. I find that really helps. So if I feel like I'm starting to write a tune, then I didn't used to be so good at this. I used to be like trying to do it the old ways. I have to view it like, okay, almost like forget everything you know and just allow what is happening in that moment to occur. And if you do use something you've done before, that's still the beginner's mind, because that will just come up. That's what I should do. But I don't try to seize on it too quickly or control it. I just kind of go, well, I've written loads of tunes, let's see what's happening this time. It's like I imagine it's like sweeping stuff off a desk and just waiting to see what comes in. So that's how I choose what to write. It's usually just I get a wee spark of something, and it's almost like that chooses me, or it chooses you, or I get excited by it. I'm going to do a whole video on this term, which I use, which is I'm looking for streams of excitement. That's what I think. That's how I think of melody, streams of excitement, because they're kind of rippling along, and there's loads of different potential streams for a path from here to there, but I'm looking for the one that's the most exciting. It's kind of like electricity. I'm looking for the one that everything flows in the way that just is the most electrifying. That's how I kind of choose. I look for the most exciting ones. You just write what you feel like at the time. I mean, that's it. I don't think that is the approach that I feel like probably every artist in history uses. So a couple of our comments. Gavin, brilliant stuff. Thank you, Gavin. Appreciate that, man. Michael Butcher says the tune needs a sequel for the journey. Well, yeah, I wonder what that could go into. Dream Angus, very thought provoking. Thank you, Dream Angus, and thank you all for tuning in. I don't know where you are in the world, apart from I know one of you is in the USA, and I'm pretty sure one's in Glasgow and one's in England somewhere. But I know Braco. Anyway, it's been a lovely day here today, so I wasn't sure if anyone was going to jump in. So I appreciate it, and if you're watching this not in the live stream setting, I hope this has been beneficial. And yeah, thank you all so much. Finley, you'll have to write it down. Great, cool, go for it. And thank you, Petra. Thank you all so much. So that was it. That was a dance for Ruth, and I'm gonna say cheerio, and I'm gonna go in and get some food and go and spend some family time. So wish you all a very, very nice rest of your day, whatever you're doing. And yeah, thank you all for sticking around. Some great questions. There's some really thought-provoking comments for me to hear. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. And if you want some drones and stuff, come and join me on Patreon. And I'll also bore you with video diaries that horrendously early, o'clock in the morning and stuff like that. Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to end the broadcast. All the best, everyone. Cheers. Here we go.